everyone, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. This is Jenny Love with Jenny Love Journals. And I know I started this project like a week ago and I made a video, and I haven't been able to get another video out pertaining to this project because I have been busy reorganizing my craft room. I had to get like new shelving and move everything around, and it took me like 3 or 4 days to do so. So I finally was able to get back to this project. If you didn't see the first video starting this project, you can go back and watch that and then come back and watch this. But if you did, obviously, as you can see, I did get the covers done for these journals. Now, again, like I said last time, I am making 3 of them. The theme of these journals is garden harvest, more of like a fruits and vegetable harvest rather than flower, like a flowery garden, which I do plan on doing like flower garden journals in the near future. But these are for like harvesting, if you will. So again, like I said, I'm making 3 journals. 2 of them will be in my shop, and 1 of them is going to be gifted to my sister-in-law, and that is this one. And I know what some of you might be thinking, that is the best looking one out of the 3. Maybe some of you aren't, but I personally think so. Out of all 3 of these covers, I like the way this one turned out the most. But I did it mostly in the pinks because my sister-in-law is, you know, I believe anyway, it's been a while since I've gotten to know, you know, her likes and dislikes because I moved to Florida 9 years ago and she lives in New York. But as far as I know, she is like a pinkish type of girl. So this is the cover that I made for her journal. And as you can see, I just sewed together some fabrics, you know, collaged some fabrics together and sewed them together, added some ribbon and some rickrack and some lace and some buttons. It is a 2-inch spine, and I did cover it in the strawberry fabric. And then opening it up, I covered it in scrapbook paper, but there is like strawberries. Cherries right there. I was going to say, I thought there was cherries. And then of course some flowers, a few little frogs, butterflies, mushrooms, things like that. But anyways, that's the inside. So again, this one will not be for sale because this one is going to my sister-in-law. This one will be for sale when it is finished. I went more towards like the red and black theme, if you will. A lot of greens as well. Some bees, some sunflowers, and I covered it in the red and white gingham fabric. This is also a 2-inch spine. All 3 of these journals will have 2 signatures in each of them, but I plan on making them pretty chunky as I have a lot of ephemera that's going to be going into these journals, which is why I made the spines so thick. Usually when I do a 2 signature journal, I make the spine about 1.5 inches. And if I do a 3 signature journal, I make the spine about 2 inches. But like I said, in this case, for these journals, I have so much that's going to be going inside of them, so rather be safe than sorry, I made the spines a little thicker than I normally would for a 2 signature journal. So anyways, as you can see with this, I did the same thing. I did a fabric collage. Like this is all one piece. It looks like 2 pieces, but it's all one piece. And then I just lined some different ribbons and laces, if you can see that, along the center. And then I put some rickrack and then some more lace, some more rickrack, some red eyelet trim, and I just sewed these pieces together. And then I added this red lace on the edge of the cover, which I absolutely love. And then the inside, I did a, I don't know what you would call this. It's like a wood, I don't know what you would call it. Honestly, my mind is a blank right now. But it has like the mulberries all over it with the greenery and things like that. I thought that was really pretty. So I finished the cover for these 2. For this one, here, let me put these aside so I can show you this one. This one, you're probably looking at it like, what is going on there? So my original intention for one of the journals, obviously for 2 of them, I wanted to do fabric collages on the front, but for the other one, and by the way, I did make these covers by hand using chipboard. chipboard and like thick cardstock. And these were not originally books already. I made these from scratch. But this one, my intention was to use a vintage book to make the cover. And I can't find where I had the other part of it. But I selected the book, which is this. And then I realized that the book itself was too small. It was too thin and too short for the signature pages. Like here's the pages, for example. And there's probably about 1.5 to 2 inches going both way. Well, going up and down, there's probably about 1.5 to 2 inches. And then this way, there's probably about 1/2 inch. While I could have cut these down to fit this green part that you're seeing, I didn't want to do that because a lot of the pages in these signatures are very detailed all the way around. And there was a lot of detail that I didn't want to cut off. So I said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I took some very thick chipboard and I made, just like I did with the other two, I made a cover and I covered it in this beautiful fabric. You can see it's flowers, bees, butterflies. And I got the idea, this is also a 2-inch spine, and I got the idea to take the cover of the vintage book and glue it to the front of this book. Kind of like a giant book plate, if you will, if that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. I don't even know what I would call it. But when I thought of that, I said, it might look good, but if it doesn't, I'm going to regret it. So I said, as soon as I glue it on, if I don't like it, I'm going to pull it off. And when I glued it on, I instantly fell in love with it. I thought it looked so pretty. So this green part here that you see is the cover of a 1939 book. And the back cover and the spine, that's what I was just looking for. I don't know where they are. And I thought about putting the back cover on the back of this, and I thought, no, that's going to look weird. I'm just going to leave the back of this the way it is, so that you can really see the fabric. But this, I instantly fell in love with. But I do plan on embellishing this today, mostly down here, because it's got a little indentation up here, or a, what would you call it, a stamp? I don't know what you would call it. Maybe you can see it if I come in closer. But I am going to embellish this, and that's what I'm actually going to do today on camera for you guys. And then opening it up, I just put the green scrapbook paper to line the inside covers, and then of course the fabric for the spine. So I thought that came out really nice. This is very thick. If you can see how thick this is, and quite heavy, and there's not even any pages or anything in it yet. So when this does go up for sale in my Etsy shop, I can't guarantee the shipping price because it's going to be quite heavy by the time it's done. You know, as opposed to other journals that I do where the shipping is typically anywhere from like $9 to $11, because I always do shipping according to weight and location, you know, where it's being shipped to and how much it weighs. This one, it's going to weigh a little bit more than, you know, that of your average junk journal. So when you see this go in my Etsy shop and you see the shipping price, don't be alarmed too much, because it's literally because it's a heavy book. But maybe it won't be too much more than it usually is. Hopefully not. Okay, so first, before we start embellishing the front of this, I want to show you, I know I showed you in the first video, these signatures that I put together for these three, excuse me, for these three journals. But I don't believe I showed you the what they looked like after I, you know, folded them all and put them together. Oh, there's a pocket. I made several pockets on my my Big Shot using some pocket dies that I have. I'm not going to show you all of them, but I'll just give you an idea, because a lot of them are in the same order as far as digital to extra pages that I have added to it. So it starts with a digital on the front, and then it has a very vintage page from a vintage notebook, and then the barberry bush book page from a 1942 vintage book. And then, of course, another digital. And, of course, all the digitals are not the same, by the way, in all of these signatures. The digitals are all different. Here's another digital. And another. Here's the tea stain digital that is in my Etsy shop if you want to download and print tea stain pages. There's grid paper. This is, I believe, from KB and Friends. I have the links to where I got the majority of my digitals in the description of the last video that I put out starting this journal. I added a doily in there. I love all of these digitals. This is crepe paper, very thick crepe paper that I just kind of folded and added. And as you can see, I folded it because it was, 12 by 12, I believe. And I didn't want to cut it all off, so I just folded it up and made some pockets, as you can see here. So as you get the idea, again, this is pretty much the same order as all of the other signatures as far as digitals, extra pages, book pages, vintage pages, crepe paper, things like that. But they're all different in all the signatures. They're not, none of them are the same, which is pretty cool. Because if you order a specific journal, once we do the flip through video and you like the pages in a specific journal, you will be the only one that gets those pages. Alrighty, so I'm going to set these up here. And I think I'm going to tie the signatures in before I actually embellish these journals, simply because of how thick these journals are going to be. Usually I tie the signatures in after I embellish the signatures, like add the pockets and the belly bands and the, collages and things like that. And while it's always a little difficult because of the thickness once you're done, these ones I believe are going to be a little more difficult because of how thick they're going to be. So I think I'm going to tie the signatures into these before I start embellishing. All right, let me bring you in just a little bit closer here. Take a sip of my coffee. Okay, so again, I want to embellish this because while I love it, I don't want to leave it blank. Because I have these two, they are very, very busy, if you will, as far as the decorative elements. And I was thinking too, because I put some buttons on this, I might want to put some buttons on this one, maybe some black buttons somewhere, maybe like down in here, maybe 1, 2, 3. Right here, or 1, 2, 3 right here. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But once I do the flip through video of this, you will see what I had done as far as that goes. Let me just set these over here. I have some doilies. I might want to use like a red doily or even a yellow doily because there's some yellow in here. What about a white? I'm thinking yellow, maybe off in the corner down here, actually. And I want to start, because again, I don't want to put too much on here, and I want to stay mostly down in this region. And these are new doilies. I just got these off of, excuse me, Amazon. Not that long ago, a few weeks ago. And I've been dying to use them. I was going to say that feels a little thick. So let me put one down here and then just cut off the corners. Here, let me see. I'm sorry if you hear a weird buzzing noise. That is my air conditioner. Very, very hot in Southwest Florida today. I mean, it's summer after all, and it is South Florida. But holy crap, is it hot. It's like, the temperature is like 92 degrees, but the feels like is like 105, guys. Like, it is no joke. Absolutely no joke. Since this is so thin, I'm going to use Fabri-Tac to glue this down because, as you guys know, any other water-based glues will wrinkle the paper if the paper is really thin. And Fabri-Tac is not water-based. I believe it's like alcohol-based, honestly. So it doesn't wrinkle the paper or tear the paper. So we'll set this down. Yeah, I like the yellow. I really do, because of the yellow up here, and in the flowers here. Okay. And I want to put something in the middle of that. Let's see, we have so much ephemera, but we also have these stickers. We have like an apple, strawberries. The strawberries seem like they would be too big, and I don't want to cut any of those off. Okay, let's look and see what we have as far as the ephemera. Now, in the last video, I showed all of the ephemera that I have, which is a lot, like a ton of ephemera. Oh my goodness gracious. That's why I said these journals are going to be very, very, very thick. Let's see what we got here. I mean, we have these round ones, but then we also have some of these, like some little labels. You want to put a label on there. Something like that. Again, if you like any of this ephemera, the links to the Etsy shop that I got these from are in the description of the last video that the video I uploaded before this video. I don't know if well, I do kind of like this. I do. Is that too much? Maybe? I don't know. Oh, here's a little stamp with a sunflower on it. And we got some sunflowers on the fabric. That's cute. Or we can put it over here like where a stamp would typically go. Oh, there's so much here. So much to use. And honestly, I hope I use it all. But I tell you, if I don't end up using it all, I will definitely be including a lot of it. Whatever I have left, I'll divide between the 3 journals, or the 2 actually, because one of them again is a gift. So the 2 that I sell, whatever I have left over, which might end up being quite a bit, I will divide evenly to add to whoever purchases the journals so that they have stuff to further embellish. Oh, here's a bee. Even a strawberry. If I want to just take the collaging out. I don't know though, I really like the collaging. Let's just see what it looks like. That's pretty. That's pretty too. Excuse me. So, I'm stumped. Or we can use a smaller bee here and add something like that. I like that. What else do we have in the smaller ones? Oop. We have some cherries, strawberry, I'm basically going by the colors and the theme of the fabric for the cover. There's no fruits or vegetables on the fabric, obviously, of this one. But they are gardening harvest journals or whatever, if you will, after all. That's the dog walking around. Now he's burping. Oh, I like that. The farmer's market one. I like that. And then the strawberry label behind it. I think that's what I'm going to go with, honestly. What a piggy you are today, making burpees. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go with that. What do you guys think? What do you think? What do you think? Let me grab my ink so I can ink around. So hopefully you guys are all having a good day today. Hopefully you're in a creative mood, making something beautiful. I know that some of you have reached out because you are curious about some doctor's appointments that I felt a little thick, like there was something behind it, that I had recently that I was talking about in previous videos. I think the last time I talked to you guys about what was going on, I had a heart monitor put on so that they could monitor, I need to put a pin in there, my arrhythmias, because I have PVCs, which again, I've said it before, but if you're new or if you missed it, PVCs stand for premature ventricular contractions, and it's basically just like an abnormal, I can't even talk, abnormal heart rhythm. Very scary, very annoying. So it got to the point to where I was getting them back to back every day. Like when they got the results back from my heart monitor, it was to the point where I was getting up to 300 a day. 300 PVCs a day is what my heart monitor was measuring. And so they took me off of the medication I was on, which was metoprolol, and they put me on something called Verapamil. And my cardiologist said that, you know, it should work. Oh, I should have put that one down first because it goes behind it. Hold on. You know, it should work and help my heart regulate. The Verapamil, basically what it does is it opens up the blood vessels and allows more oxygen and blood flow through the heart so that the heart doesn't skip beats or palpitate or anything like that. Well, tomorrow will be 2 weeks since I have started the Verapamil, and it's not working. Why? I don't know. I don't know why it's not working. I'm thinking about putting like a lace or something along the edge here. I think I have some green, 2 green. These are vintage lace. This one might be a little too bright, and this one might be a little too olive-ish, if you will. Let's just see. But anywho, so I have an appointment. He told me he wanted to see me 6 weeks after starting the Verapamil to see how it's been working. And I mean, that's not bad. I might want to do a yellow though, to kind of contrast what we already got going on. But anyway, so I'm going to give it more time. And if by the time I have to go back, it's still not working, then I'm gonna tell him, like, it's not working. And I'm kind of scared because the next course of action would be a heart procedure, which I was telling you guys about. It's where they go in and burn away some of the extra fibers inside the heart to help with the arrhythmias or whatever. Now, I'm 45 years old. I just turned 45 in June, last month. And I am, for the most part, a very healthy person. Very, very healthy. I got a huge clean bill of health, so much so that the doctor in the hospital that I was in when I was getting the arrhythmias thought that I lied on my paperwork, or thought that there was like a misprint. And he was like, "Are you sure you weren't born in 1990? Like, it says 1980. And I'm like, "No, I was born in 1980. And he just couldn't get over how healthy I was for my age. Why I'm having these PVCs and arrhythmias, nobody knows. Not a clue. I've gone through so many tests. My heart looks good. I don't have any blockages. I did a stress test, EKGs, echocardiograms, sonograms, all kinds of stuff on my heart, and everything looks great. So why I'm having these arrhythmias and PVCs, nobody knows. All right, hold on. Let me go and see if I have a yellow lace. Okay, I pulled several things here out of my vintage laces and rickrack. I have 2 different shades of yellow lace and a yellow rickrack, but the rickrack I might be the one I'm gonna go for, because I love rickrack, as you guys know. That is pretty. It is pretty. No, I want it on the book. I want it on it. Or I can put a lace down and then the rickrack over it. Oh, there's a pin in there. Let's see. Actually, we want to put the lace the other way so that the scalloped... no, we'll put it back this way so that the edge is going towards... The straight edge is going along the edge of the book itself. Now that is pretty, but what will it look like if I put the rickrack over the top of it? I don't know. Actually, I do like it. But then I have this lighter yellow here. Let's see. What did it look like with the lighter yellow? That might be it, actually. That might be it. Oh, Lord. I don't know. Yep, I think I'm going to go with that. Yep. I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's pretty. Cut that switch straight. And then come down. So anywho, as I was saying, before he took me off the metoprolol and switched me to the verapamil. Now, they're 2 different things. Like, metoprolol, for those of you who don't know, is a beta blocker, and the verapamil is a calcium channel blocker. So they do 2 different things. The metoprolol kind of lowers your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure, makes it so that there's not a lot of stress strain on your heart. And the verapamil, it kind of does the same thing, but it's a calcium channel blocker. It blocks like calcium buildup, calcium deposits and stuff like that from building up in your, your arteries and your heart, and allows more oxygen, blood and oxygen to go through. Actually, I'm gonna need a little bit thicker. So when I was on the metoprolol, the first 2 weeks or so, because I was on that for a couple of months, and the first 2 weeks that I was on it was pretty rough because the side effects when you're first starting it is fatigue and headache. And let me just tell you, I was exhausted. So tired the first couple weeks that I was on it. Every day, all day. And I didn't like it. And I told my doctor that, and they were like, well, it's typical, you know, it's a side effect. It should subside once your body gets used to it. Also, the dreams, guys, the dreams when you're on metoprolol, very, very vivid. Very vivid. And I told my doctor that too, and he just kind of laughed, and he was like, yep. He was like, a lot of my patients, that's one of their biggest complaints is that they get very vivid nightmares when they're on the metoprolol. And I said, well, I'm not really having nightmares because I wasn't, but I was having dreams that were so vivid. And actually, I'm just going to put it right here on the Rick Rack. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can, kind of. But, you know, he said that was, but it got to the point to where I was kind of excited about what I was going to dream about because you just never knew what you were going to dream about. And the fact that it was so vivid, you know, and they felt so real, or it was like you were watching a movie or something. It got to the point to where it got exciting, as weird as that might sound. Because you were just like, oh, what am I going to dream about tonight, you know? But after a while, I got so used to being on the metoprolol and my body just started responding very well. And one of the best parts about being on metoprolol is I was able to take my magnesium citrate, which I have taken for years, guys, years. Every morning I would take a magnesium citrate. A lot of people don't realize that magnesium is a definite must. And a lot of people don't get enough magnesium in their diet, especially those who don't eat like health nuts, you know. And it could be detrimental in the future, especially for your heart. That is pretty, I think that's all. Is that all I want to do? I think that's all. I was thinking about putting a lace on the edge like I did with the other two, but I think I'm going to leave it alone. I might put some eyelets in the edges here and put some ties in there so that you can tie the book together, because again, this one is so thick and heavy that once it's filled up, you might have to have something to tie it together. And like these, for example, because I have the lace, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do to contain everything. I'm going to have to figure that part out. But anyway, so anyway, with the Verapamil, you can't take magnesium because magnesium and Verapamil don't work well together, and they can cause more heart issues. So if, like I said, if when I go back, not if, but when I go back in, well, 4 weeks now, and if I still am not happy with it, I'm going to tell my doctor to put me back on the metoprolol and let me take my magnesium again, because that seemed to be working well. It didn't work 100%. It worked better than what they have me on now, because I really don't want to have to go through that procedure. But like I said, I'm going to give it a little more time, because it does say, like when you research it, it does say that it could take 1 to 2 weeks for it to start fully working. And again, tomorrow will be 2 weeks. But some people, it might take a little longer. You know, like for me, it took about 3, maybe 4 weeks for the metoprolol to, you know, really start working in my body to become comfortable with it. So, okay. We have this cover done. I think that's all I want to do. I don't want to do too much more because, again, this is a vintage book cover, and I don't want to cover it up too much, and I think that looks very nice. So the next thing I wanted to do, well, first I want to show you some of these pockets that I made, that I cut out on my Big Shot, that I'm going to be including. God, I don't even know how many pockets are here. There's like 30 something, but I made these little mini ones. How cute are these? I love them. Now these ones are thick. But as you can see, they have the lines here, so you just fold them in and glue them down like that. And then I have these medium size pockets. Quite a few of those. And then like a bigger there's a lot of pockets here because, as you guys know, if you've been following my channel for a while and you watch me make journals, I am a pocket junkie. I love pockets. Here are some very large pockets. I made it so that there's one of each in every signature. So one of these in one signature, or in every signature, one of these in every signature, blah, blah, blah. You know, you get it. And then the same with, these are a different kind of pocket with like the scalloped top. That was super cute. And then this just has, and yes, it's crooked on purpose. It's supposed to be. How cute is that? But that's the pocket die. It's like on a slant. I don't know why, but I think it's cute. And then I showed you guys all of the magazine images that I cut out and backed in my last video. I got that done, but there are still more that I have to back. And by the way, those pockets will be embellished before they go in the journals. I'm not just going to put them in the journals the way they are. I will be embellishing those. But these are other images that I cut out of a 1926 Better Homes and Gardens magazine. And I showed you, I believe I showed you guys these in the last video. Like big jumbo strawberries. And I'm going to back these onto cardstock. And some of them are going to be pockets. Like this one, for example, I'm going to back this and make it a pocket. And some of them will be journaling cards. I can do a few of those on camera while I'm with you guys, actually. And my goal is to, let's see, today is Thursday, July 10th. I started these last Thursday, I think. And yeah, I started these a week ago, but like I said, I haven't really been able to get too much done except for putting the signatures together, decorating the covers, getting the books themselves, the covers themselves made. I was able to back some things, cut out the ephemera. I mean, that's still actually a lot. But usually I have everything completely done in like a week when I start a journal or 2 journals or 3 even. But I have been really held up by the chaos of my craft room, but I did get it all situated and reorganized. I might do a video, another craft room tour video if you guys want. Let me know if that's something, excuse me, that you want to see. Because while my craft room for the most part looks the same as it did the last time I did a video, there's a lot of changes because I obtained or acquired a lot more since that video. And yeah, there's a lot of changes, so I might do a video. I don't know, we'll have to see. So for these, I want to back these. I have some cardstock, and I have these extra sheets that I printed out from the kits that I didn't end up incorporating into the signatures. I think I showed you guys these in the last video. And I can use some of these to back some of the vintage ads. I love that one. Yeah, let's do a few of those. Let's take this one. And I also have this textured cardstock here in 2 different colors, which again, I did show you in the last video. I want to do this, which again, I did show you guys this, but I love it so much. This is like the layout of what your yard would look like back in the 1800s, early 1900s. You would come out your side or your back door into like your main backyard. You know, this is where like the kids would play and the dog would run around, the family would hang out. And then you'd come through a gate here where you have all of your flower garden, right? These are all of your flowers, your herbs, things like that. And then you'd come under the trellis here to all of your crops, your fruits and your vegetables. And oh, I love that. How I wish it was still that way. So this, it's quite a big image, obviously. So I think I'm going to use this to just glue on one of the pages. Actually, it's bigger than the pages. So, darn it. Is it bigger than the book we just did? Because, I mean, I could glue it on the back, but... Oh, yeah, it is. I was going to say I could glue it on the back of this, but I don't even think that that would even look good. So I'm going to have to chop some of this off, honestly. I don't want to because I love the image so much. I love it. The whole thing. Let me see. Oh, why did this come to me before when I... Oh, goodness gracious. I might not even use this in these journals, honestly, because I don't want to cut this up. I might back this onto something like this and frame it. Oh my gosh, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I might do that. And I might keep it or I might sell it in my Etsy shop. Back it onto this and then put it in a nice frame. Let's see. How big is this? Seven by probably 7. Nope, 7 by a little under 6.5. So I would have to find a frame, probably like an 8 by 8 frame or something, because we're gonna have this around it to like a mat, you know, to mat it. So I think that's what I'm gonna do with this. Now, if I do that and, you know, you're interested in possibly purchasing something like this, and again, it will be framed, let me know in the comments. Because if you want to reserve it, maybe purchase it on a reserve. I won't put it in my Etsy shop. And I'll just save it for whoever wants to purchase it. All right, let's move on. Let's go with this. I don't know if I like that background on this. I recently cut my nails. Oh, I like that. It's a very bright yellow. But anyways, I recently cut my nails, and picking things up is a challenge, like papers and stuff, because I'm not a fan of long fingernails. I don't like long fingernails, but I let them grow just a little bit, and then I just keep them filed down so that they don't get too long. But recently, my nails have been getting brittle and breaking, and I'm actually starting to wonder if that's because of the new medicine I'm on. Because it's like a new thing where my nails, even though I put like a treatment on my nails before I paint them to strengthen my nails, it's like a cholesterol treatment for your nails. They've recently started becoming very brittle and not like breaking, but like peeling. Like I'll look down and a piece of my nail will be just like kind of hanging off, you know. I got to peel it off and then go in and cut it. And so I'm wondering, I should Google it, if it's because of the verapamil. That would suck. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and kiss cut around that because I want this background. But again, this is going to be a pocket. some little scissors. This might be a little too small. I have all these little scissors. I'll probably go with these ones. And I just never know like what scissors, you know. I like to use them a lot for when I'm fussy cutting or kiss cutting, you know. Just to make it easier here. And then once we get this pocket made, then I will let you guys go, because I know this video has been long already, just because I've been doing a lot of jibber jabbering. I hope you guys don't mind. And then the next time I see you guys, which will hopefully be in just a few short days, if I'm not finished with these journals by that time, then I'll do some more with you guys, maybe embellish some of the pockets that I showed you, and you can watch me fill up the journals. Or if I get a chance to get them done in a timely manner, then we'll just do the flip through. But as you guys know, we've had a lot going on lately. Deaths in the family, having to travel to New York twice. Twice just in the last 10 months because of deaths in the family. Unexpected deaths for both of them, unfortunately. The first one was my brother, who he passed away he was only 37 years old. Unexpectedly passed away. And then my husband's uncle unexpectedly passed away a few weeks ago, and we just got back from New York about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And then just catching up on life, and then it seems like when you do that and you catch up, you know, something else happens. Never fails. I'm sure y'all can relate. How cute is that? And that will go on a page as a pocket now that it's thicker. Quite a size. Might have to actually make this a tuck to go in this way. So let's do that. We'll glue it down. Don't tell me my glue is clogged again. Gosh darn it. These little teeny tiny glue spouts, or whatever you call them. Again, my brain is not working today. Oh, there we go. Okay, it just went. I'm here now. Nozzles, there we go. Glue nozzles. And then, well, let's actually bring it up here just a little bit. There we go. How cute. And then, well, I don't know yet what I'm going to put in there, but I'm just going to show you. We can put some stuff in there. I don't know yet what I will put in there, because like I said, I have so much ephemera. But anyways, you get the idea. And I will be doing this with all of the rest of these, backing them and gluing them. But anyways, I will leave you guys here, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, I do apologize for, you know, not putting out as much content as I usually do. But again, life and stuff, you know. But I was happy to be able to get all of these covers done. And I think that's the longest part in my opinion. I mean, raise your hand if you agree. Like, as far as journal making, I think the most tedious process is getting the journal covers made and embellished, decorated, covered, all of that. So that's done. And I will see you guys real soon. As always, if you liked this video, please give it a great big thumbs up. Share it out to family and friends who you think would enjoy it. And I will see you all real soon. Take care, everyone.